Debits and credits often seem confusing at first. But when you understand how different accounting elements respond to transactions, the process becomes much more logical. Let's take a closer look. It is important to understand that the terms debit and credit do not simply mean increase or decrease. Their effect depends on the nature and classification of the account involved. In financial accounting, transactions are recorded by considering the underlying accounting elements, namely assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. Every account within a business falls into one of these 5 accounting elements. Depending on the type of account affected, a debit or credit may either increase or decrease that accounting element. A useful way to remember the debit and credit rules is that assets and expenses normally increase with debits, while liabilities, equity, and income normally increase with credits. Now, let's check an example. On the 1st of January, the owner invested $12,000 in cash into the business as capital. Before we reveal the answer, let's think about the accounts involved. The business receives cash. Cash belongs to which accounting element? Should cash be debited or credited? At the same time, the owner's investment increases capital. Capital belongs to which accounting element? Should capital be debited or credited? Using the debit and credit rules shown on screen, see if you can determine the correct journal entry before moving on. Let's now apply the debit and credit rules. The owner invested $12,000 in cash into the business as capital. From an accounting perspective, the business is receiving cash, which results in an increase in assets. Cash is classified as an asset, and accounting principles require increases in assets to be recorded on the debit side. Therefore, the cash account will be debited by $12,000. At the same time, the owner's investment increases the equity of the business. Capital is classified as equity, and under accounting principles, increases in equity are recorded on the credit side. Therefore, the capital account will be credited by $12,000. This transaction demonstrates the dual effect principle of double entry bookkeeping. Every transaction affects at least 2 accounts, and total debits must always equal total credits. Now that you've seen how debits and credits are applied in a real transaction, you can begin to see the logic behind the double entry system. If you would like to learn more about debits, credits, journal entries, and double entry bookkeeping, be sure to watch the full lesson through the link in the comments, or visit the Accounting for Everyone channel. If you found this lesson helpful, please like, subscribe, and join us for more accounting lessons explained clearly.